America, JOC here with your Ranting Politics headline updates, where we are diving into today's most explosive political stories that you need to know about. Coming up, we'll dive into Chuck Schumer's latest plot twist in the government shutdown saga that has his own party members losing their minds. Then, we've got breaking news about the last American hostage in Gaza that might finally be coming home. Hold on to your hats because we're also going to talk about Trump's absolutely bonkers plan to reclaim the Panama Canal. Yes, you heard that right. And finally, the great egg crisis of 2025 takes another turn that'll make your grocery bills a little less painful. Stick around for all this and more in your daily dose of unfiltered news and common sense commentary. This is Ranting Politics Headline Updates. Well, folks, the government shutdown drama just got spicier than a ghost pepper eating contest. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer dropped a bombshell today, announcing he'll vote to keep the government's lights on, despite calling the House-passed funding measure very bad. Talk about a plot twist that has his fellow Democrats reaching for the antacids. According to Fox News, Schumer argued that while the bill isn't great, a shutdown would be way worse for America. But his Democratic colleagues aren't exactly throwing him a parade for this decision. AOC fired back, saying Schumer's logic is completely off base, claiming this vote basically hands Elon Musk a blank check while robbing the federal government to finance billionaire tax cuts. The drama didn't stop there. New Jersey Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman jumped into the fray, telling Schumer to pull the plug on this Republican bill, calling it bad for workers, veterans, and seniors. Even former Obama official Susan Rice couldn't hold back, taking to X to demand Schumer grow a spine. And quickly. Here's the kicker. Republicans might have the majority in the Senate, but they still need some Democrats to play ball to clear the procedural hurdles. And with only one lonely Democrat voting for this in the House, Schumer's announcement is raising eyebrows higher than a cat watching a ceiling fan. Representative Jasmine Crockett from Texas really summed up the Democratic divide, saying some understand the present danger while others don't, and she's standing firm against what she calls Trump's tyranny. Looks like Schumer might need some aloe vera for all these burns from his own party members. Breaking news from Gaza today as Hamas has announced they're ready to release Eden Alexander, the last living American hostage in their custody. The 21-year-old New Jersey native, who was serving in the Israeli military when he was captured during the October 7th attack, may finally be coming home after an intensive diplomatic push. This potential breakthrough comes on the heels of a significant shift in U.S. policy. The White House recently revealed they've been engaging in direct talks with Hamas officials, a dramatic departure from long-standing American policy of not negotiating with terrorist organizations. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff had previously identified Alexander's release as a top priority, noting the young American's injured status. The negotiations, which have been playing out in Qatar, involve a complex web of intermediaries, including U.S. hostage negotiator Adam Boehler, who's been meeting with Hamas leadership in recent days. The announced release would include Alexander along with the remains of 4 dual nationals who tragically didn't survive their captivity. This development is part of a broader ongoing ceasefire arrangement that's been in place since January 19th. So far, the deal has resulted in the exchange of 33 Israeli hostages and 5 Thai nationals for approximately 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees. While the timing of Alexander's transfer remains uncertain, this announcement marks a potentially crucial step toward bringing the last American hostage home from Gaza. The story brings to light the intricate dance of international diplomacy, where traditional policy lines sometimes need to blur in the pursuit of bringing our citizens home. As reported by the New York Post, it's still unclear exactly which parties participated in negotiating this specific deal, but the outcome could represent a significant diplomatic achievement in this ongoing crisis. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this next story is a real doozy. The Trump administration has just directed the U.S. military to draw up plans for what they're calling reclaiming the Panama Canal. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about potentially increasing American military presence in a sovereign nation that's been independently operating this crucial waterway for over 25 years. According to NBC News, Southern Command is cooking up various scenarios ranging from friendly cooperation to, and I kid you not, the unlikely option of seizing the canal by force. The whole thing stems from concerns about China's growing influence in the region, with Trump specifically mentioning this goal during his recent joint address to Congress. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is expected to visit Panama next month, armed with draft strategies from Admiral Alvin Halsey. Currently, we've got about 200 troops rotating through Panama, but the administration's looking to beef that up significantly. They're floating ideas like establishing new Army jungle schools, securing existing ports, and even having the Army Corps of Engineers operate the canal's locks. Now, it's worth noting that Panama and China are both pushing back hard against these claims of foreign interference. The canal's neutrality is actually written into Panama's constitution, and Chinese officials are accusing the U.S. of using coercion to block their aid projects. Remember, this isn't exactly ancient history. The U.S. invaded Panama back in '89 to oust Manuel Noriega, and that's still fresh in many minds. But here's where it gets really interesting. While military force is being considered as a last resort, the administration seems more focused on economic moves. Just look at BlackRock's recent $22.8 billion deal to buy a 90% stake in the Panama Ports Company from a Hong Kong-based firm. Seems like the chess pieces are already moving on this particular board. For those keeping score at home, we're watching a delicate diplomatic dance unfold around one of the world's most crucial waterways, with global superpowers jockeying for position and influence. And all this while Panama's president insists his government alone administers the canal. Talk about your international tension headaches. Well, folks, let me crack open this story about the incredible egg price roller coaster we've been riding. Fresh data from the USDA shows egg prices just took a spectacular nosedive, dropping from a wallet-crushing $7.22 per dozen to $4.90 in just 1 week. And get this, we were looking at an all-time high of $8.17 just a few days before that plunge. Now, if you've been following this egg saga, you know it's become quite the political hot potato. These sky-high prices have been hitting American families where it hurts, right in the breakfast budget. We're talking about prices that shot up from a reasonable $2 per dozen in previous years to more than $8 at their peak. That's enough to make anyone's grocery bill scramble. The culprit behind this egg-spensive mess? A perfect storm of problems, including that nasty bird flu outbreak that's forced farmers to cull over 111 million birds since 2022. Throw in some inflation, supply chain headaches, and new animal welfare regulations, and you've got yourself a recipe for price chaos. Here's where it gets interesting. This has become such a hot-button issue that it actually played a role in the recent presidential election. A Gallup poll showed voters pointing to economic pressures like these as a major reason for their choices at the ballot box. The Justice Department is even reportedly launching an investigation into whether top egg producers might be playing chicken with the supply to keep prices high. And if you think the drama ends there, think again. The USDA is predicting egg prices could jump another 41% this year. So while we're getting some relief right now, don't count your chickens before they hatch. This story might have a few more surprises in store for our grocery bills. And that wraps up today's Ranting Politics headline updates. You've been listening to your daily dose of unfiltered political commentary and breaking news. Remember, we're bringing you the stories that matter most, cutting through the noise and getting straight to the point. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow us across all platforms. You can find us on X at RantingRP, catch our video content on YouTube, stream us on Spotify and iHeartRadio, or download our episodes on Apple Podcasts. For more in-depth coverage and exclusive content, head over to rantingpolitics.com, where we're always serving up fresh, unfiltered perspectives on the day's biggest stories. This is JOC, signing off, and thank you, our loyal listeners, for choosing Ranting Politics headline updates. We'll be back soon with the updates you need to navigate these interesting times. Until then, stay tuned, stay informed, and as always, stay free.